you so much for being here today. And today is the first of the five session webinar from Story Awards Nominee. I will start this webinar with a short introduction about the new Top 100 2026 edition. As you know, we have launched this competition a few weeks ago, and I am happy to explain you a bit more of this competition and what is new about this year. So this year we have a new story discovery scan, and the aim of this new discovery scan is switching the aim of the competition from a sustainability assessment as to a storytelling tool. So the new story discovery scan will support the destination to focus and to understand what kind of good practice stories show, and also to support in strengthening the narrative tool. Then we have introduced a new good story submission template that will as a support for the destination to guide you in the storytelling in the storytelling way, and so to support you to make a bit easier to follow a clear structure of a narrative description of your story. And then we have a new platform that will help you to in the writing part, and also in the preparation for your stories. And we hope that all of these changes will improve and will support your submission. Who can participate? The participants are the same as last year, so local destination, regional areas, protected areas, and private destination. And the stories categories, this is another change. This year we have just 4: visitor experience and destination management, people and community, nature and environment, and cultural heritage. On this, with the story discovery scan, there is in the story discovery scan we include some questions that will guide you to understand what kind of focus area you should focus on. And then this is the timeline. As you can see at the bottom of the timeline, we have the milestones. So when we open the registration, when is the deadline of the registration, that is the 31st of March. The good practice story submission, that is the 15th of June. And then obviously we are going to have the ceremony and the nominees announcement and the Story Awards that is going to be at ITB Berlin. If you have any questions about this process, I will be super happy to answer to all of your questions at the end of this meeting, otherwise also by email. So now let's move straight to the clue, to the main part of this webinar. And first of all, I introduce myself. I am Emma Magistri. I am the Top 100 coordinator. And today with me there is Daniela Miranda, that is the event secretariat. So for who I haven't met yet, nice to meet you, everybody, and really welcome to this first session. Today, I am super happy to introduce you 4 speakers that are going to tell us about their stories. And so what we are going to do, we are going to listen to their presentation, and then there's going to be at the end of the presentation a session for question and answers, okay? So please keep your questions for the end. Otherwise, feel free to write it in the chat, and then at the end we will address to the speakers. So the first story is from Victor Fernandez, and I'm happy to introduce you the CEO of La Buena Huella and the director of the Competitive and Regenerative School. Victor is also the creator of ASG plus C2 quality system and the international ARC 360 standard, and a professor in the Competitive Corporate School, Corporate Social Responsibility. The story of Victor is about a competitive regenerative schools that connect the people in vulnerable situations. So Victor, please, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Emma. Thanks a lot for your words. Thanks a lot for this opportunity for us, which is very important, which through we can share our baby, because this is not a project. This is not a proposal. This is our baby, no? So I'm pleased to be here. I'm Victor, and I'll talk about a few details about Escuela Regenerativa Competitiva. So we can pass. Thank you very much, Emma. We are in a reality, no? We have a context, a real context, where there are a lot of people which don't have any opportunity in the labor market, and they can be very useful for us. And at the same time, there are a lot of companies which are not finding this human capital enough to give the service. So it's very strange the situation, but it's real. So what we have done, we have created a tool, a solution for the problems of all the parts which conform the touristic system. Companies and people. People will be, if we can pass through the next diapositive, please, Emma, are the solution. So the problems of the people are in being the solution of the problems of the industry. And solving both problems, we solve the problems of the competitiveness of the destination, of the touristic destinations. So we are not talking about giving something for other because you are a good person, or no. Here, all the parts are having a benefit by themselves. So in this case, what we do with this solution, we attract people in vulnerable situations. We train professionals. We meet the structural needs of companies. We increase the competitiveness of the productive sector, and we reach the community and engage the well-being of society. If we can continue, please. Thank you very much. With a structure methodology, which give competitiveness in social competence, digital competence, efficiency and sustainable competence, and functional competence. Is an structural and a public methodology. Which are the results? Because all the projects have to have results, impacts. Our impacts are that, for example, in one program in 2024, we include 22 participants in a vulnerable situation. The data show us only a 4% dropout. The 100% of program completers graduated, 70% hired and still working. And for 25, the goal was to train 100 people in Spain, because the project grows up from Lanzarote, but as we are going to see after, we are in 8 points in all over Spain. We have improved those expectations, those objectives, because we are now, and it started in Lanzarote, we are not working with natural projects in 4 points, and from the first part of 2026, we will be working in 8 points. Barcelona, Madrid, País Vasco, Balearic Island, Lanzarote, of course. So we are having results, and we can first doing well for Lanzarote people, and after, from Lanzarote, we are exporting this to be positive for other people, for other industry, for all the touristic industry, now in Spain, but we are working to introduce programs with partners in an international points. So thank you very much, everybody. And we want to finish showing you something that maybe you can know, that the past 28th November, we have adopted 30 years after the first world letter of sustainable tourism in Lanzarote, in Jameos del Agua, the new charter, the actualization of the charter of the plus 30 World Charter Sustainable Tourism, which we want to share with you all the principles, and we can do from this guide a tool for everybody. Thank you very much, Green Destinations. Thank you very much. And we are here in order to attend all the questions you have for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor. Thank you so much for this very interesting presentation and for showing us this story and how you have addressed the social challenges and how this addressing can strengthen the competitiveness of tourism of a destination and business. But we will come to you after the next presentation, and I am happy to introduce Dr. Maya Burnek. Hello. She's the sustainability coordinator at Plitvice Lakes National Park. Maya has been working in nature conservation for nearly 20 years, focusing on protected area management and ecosystem and long-term sustainability. Maya will share with us today a very interesting story about Plitvice Lakes National Park and how they have introduced 10 biomonitoring stations. Maya, thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this nice introduction. I'm very pleased to have been able to participate in this Story Award seminar for the nominees, and we are nominated in the category for environment and climate with our Feel the Pulse of the Forest story. So I will be going through this story. What is the context? So basically, I think that you are very well aware of the importance of the forest ecosystems in the whole world, not just in Europe and not just in Plitvice Lakes, but forests in general are really a great first step in combating climate change, adapting to climate change or mitigating it through carbon sinks. Even 1 hectare of the forest can absorb 12 tons of carbon dioxide. Forests are also regulating water cycles and protecting water quality and also preventing soil erosion. But in our national park, forests are covering 84% of the total park surface, and they are left to evolve, let's say, naturally without any impact of man. So forests are practically in a virgin state, in the old growth state, which kind of represents the great laboratories for scientists and either for scientific research or for monitoring activities. But monitoring nowadays, it's not only connected with some traditional methods. It is very important now to have real-time data for scientists to be able better to understand the changes that are happening in the forest ecosystems. So we notice that there is certain gap in the real-time data. And also we notice that visitors are lacking the experience of forest ecosystems in the context of the climate change, and also small number of visitors in generally are venturing on the hiking trails outside the lake area because our main visitation zone is only less than 1% of the surface, which is our main lake area with beautiful waterfalls and lakes. And also the challenge can be the funding. Okay, thank you. Next slide. So what was the solution? Well, through the development of the project, we established 10 biomonitoring stations all through the national park in forest ecosystems, obviously. And this project will be active until 2028, collecting the meteorological data, monitoring the tree growth and carbon storage. It was necessary to have some funds, to have some cash flow, let's say. We are quite a financially sustainable institution, but this can be an issue for maybe smaller protected areas. But then again, there are some EU funds which can be very useful for this part. Also, we established the educational panels, the interpretive panels for the visitors, where they can learn about the forest ecosystems, about the climate change, see what is the importance of this project, and also scan the QR codes through which they get like the real-time data from meteorological station. And the whole approach is non-invasive, which means we are the national park, so we have to be very careful in the protection of the forest ecosystems and other ecosystems. So natural processes have to be preserved through every project or monitoring. Next slide, please. What is our community or stakeholders? We're basically park staff from Nature Conservation Service, without the employees from the park that gather the data and go through the biomonitoring station. There is not enough to like have a concrete project, but also the brain behind the monitoring activities and the research is the Faculty of Forestry and Wood Technology, establishing the basis of this project and installing the equipment, and they will do the data interpretation and reporting, and also external company from which we bought all the equipment that is necessary. And also in the end, but not not very also important, are the visitors, obviously, where they can learn about the forest ecosystems. And I didn't highlight it here, but also in the future, schools and through some educational activities and different programs to include the local community into learning about the forest ecosystems. Next slide, please. Okay, so the results, I mean, first, the project is active for 4 years, but the data and the real-time data is collected all through the year and downloaded from the station, either from the dendrometers, which measure the tree growth and carbon storage. So the deeper understanding of all the biological and ecological and climate processes will be probably in the end of the project, when we will have the interpretation of all the data. Also, we had to invest into equipment, and we had to provide the staff training. The importance is obviously the real-time data collection, which is invaluable for the researchers. So basically, by the end of the project, we are hoping to have more information and more knowledge about the forest productivity, about carbon sequestration, about water regime, and so on, and what are the main stress indicators in the forest. And also there is a possibility to expand the network. Not only like several of these networks are already established in the Europe, for example, in Czech Republic. But also it will be important to establish this type of this type of monitoring on a national level in other protected areas. And in that sense, we had some scientific gathering in the February of this year, where other protected areas came, and they also applied for some external funds for this biomonitoring station to be established, and also for the visitors, which can gain an insight in all the efforts that park gives into the management of the forest ecosystems. Next slide. What are the key lessons? Well, definitely without the collaboration between different institutions, between the park or the university or the external company, etc., nothing will be without the collaboration. What was pointed out that maybe in the easier interpretation of the data, even for the visitors, in the future we will probably need some kind of a biomonitoring app, not only just the scanning of the QR codes. And we also need to regularly check the stations if everything is going smoothly, and because these stations are in some places positioned very deep in the forest, so they are with the fences for the wildlife to prevent the wildlife entering the meteorological field. Okay, so next slide. This is my finishing slide. Well, I think that with our project, and not only with this project, but probably in your daily lives, I think that we can't observe the trees that are only like something that we pass by. They are really a messenger of the changes that are happening in our day-to-day lives, and they are kind of raising awareness about the climate change mitigation and adaptation. So thank you very much for everything.
Thank you so much, Maya. Thank you so much for this enlightening story. I think that, as you just mentioned, this is a very powerful example on how science, technology, and visitor experience can really raise awareness about the climate change that sometimes can see something super far away from us, but is something that is affecting our lives. Thank you. So for the audience, if you have any question for Maya or for Victor, remember to write in the chat. Otherwise, keep it in mind, and we will have time at the end of the presentation. But now is time for our next presentation from Kaisa Linno. Hello, Kaisa.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. So Kaisa is here with us, and she's the head of the board that visit Lahemaa and the tourism cluster of Lahemaa National Park in Estonia. Alongside with her professional work, Kaisa is also pursuing a PhD focused on adaptive co-management of national park. And today she will show us the story of Lahemaa and how they transformed the spaces that were associated with oppression into meaningful experiences that are now part of the destination identity. Thank you, Kaisa. The floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone, and greetings from Lahemaa. So, yes, this is the map of Estonia, where you see in this northern part, this green area is Lahemaa National Park. And as you see, it is very much has to do with the sea. So Lahemaa, the name in Estonian means land of bays. So our culture is really connected with everything to do with the sea. We have had these coastal villages where people have gone to fish and just over the sea to Finland and for centuries. And also you see our neighbors here. So today's topic is about our military heritage and how we have used it in tourism. So one of our neighbors, Russia, then who used to invade us after during the Second World War, all Estonian coastline was a border zone for Soviet Union. So this will be about that topic. And just a few facts about Lahemaa, so you understand the background. As I mentioned, the name already means land of bays. And Lahemaa is the biggest and oldest national park in Estonia, but also it was the first one created in the whole of the former Soviet Union. So next year we celebrate our 55th anniversary. And that is also important to keep in mind that we actually have inhabitants inside the national park. I am one of them. For example, have lived here, our family has lived here for generations, at least 10 generations. And we are part of Europark, sustainable tourism community, and also have Green Destinations Platinum Award. So, yes, if you think back 100 years or so, people in Lahemaa really enjoyed this coastal area, and especially these coastal villages, they were closely connected with Finland, going over the sea. They had these fishermen villages, and so. But after the Second World War, when this coastline was the border zone of the Soviet Union, it was actually closed for locals. So all these fishermen boats were burnt, and locals were not able to go fishing anymore. And these border guard buildings were erected there. So Emma, if you go back one more, this slide, this shows one of the most fascinating places. We had a Soviet submarine demagnetization base in Hara Harbor. So here in this picture you see submarine, actually, a Soviet submarine. So it was a top secret place where people, locals were not allowed to go, only people with permits. And so after Estonia regained its independence again in the 1990s, we had these former military buildings all around the coastal area, and we're not really happy about them. So what to do with them? And it was really a great solution we took together to just try to evaluate them, give them some value as part of our history. And next slide, please. So we had all sorts of events where scientists and locals came together, and we managed to actually take this sad part of our history also as part of our history. And next slide, another photo of these discussions. And so we started cleaning these places. We had really piles of this military trash, and worked hard on it. And now they are part of our tourism experience. So next slide, the same place still, Hara Harbor, is now a popular tourism destination. This beautiful nature connected with all sorts of our cultural history. And there are these new buildings, restaurants, harbor working. Locals are really connected to all of this. Local fishermen can use this harbor now again. We have a voluntary sea rescue unit working there, sailing school, events going on. So it is really collaboration of all the stakeholders. And next slide, please. Here you see some new buildings built, and it looks really nice and interesting, especially for foreigners who want to learn about our history. And to involve all the stakeholders, we have these tourism forums twice a year, where we invite everyone together to discuss these things together. And next slide, please, a picture of this tourist forum. And the result of this taking care of this military heritage, our tourism seasons have become longer. Now we have more different experiences. Locals can work as guides on these spots. And yeah, this picture describes this harmony, the harmony of past and present and nature and culture and people. And so I think this is a good picture to finish my presentation. So thank you and welcome to Lahemaa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kaisa, for this amazing presentation and to show us how social dialogue and physical transformation can make places that are connected to a very sad part of our story and make people like being proud and use it again. Thank you so much for this, and we will come back to you soon. But now let's move to our last presentation, and I'm happy to welcome Simone Wetzel from Black Inge region. Hello, Simone.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. So she's the sustainability coordinator at Black Inge Archipelago Biosphere Reserve, and she has a master degree in strategic leadership for sustainability and works with holistic long-term transformation of tourism and society. Today, Simone, she will present their project, RK56, that is a network of coastal trails where stakeholders from across region have come together to connect nature, culture, services, and local life into cohesive experiences. Simone, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Emma, for this beautiful introduction. I'm really happy to be here with you today and to let you in on this secret that we call ARC56 and our story that is called Connecting Nature, Culture and People, the journey of ARC56 in Blekinge. But before I will reveal what this ARC56 exactly is, I would like to talk about why are we actually doing this. Because as I'm working in a biosphere reserve and our aim is to be a model area for sustainable development, it is really important to look at the underlying root causes and work strategic to such a complex area like sustainability. So you see a map there in the corner, and that is kind of our coastline, which is quite small. It's only 200 kilometers. You can reach all the places within an hour. And we are in the southeast of Sweden. But we have the problem that we are not really connected. So when they started with the Biosphere Reserve 2011, there was the issue that every little city stayed by themselves. People wanted to stay in their own municipality instead of visiting all the amazing places that we have, because we have very high natural and cultural values. That's why we have become a Biosphere Reserve by UNESCO. So the dream was to connect our coast, to work together, both for letting the locals be proud of all the amazing places we have, but also for working together for tourism, because we have some issues that we feel tourism can actually be a solution for. So you see under the map, you see a boat. So we are kind of having a problem that we are losing our cultural identity. The boat building, the fishing, and it's not easy to have finances to keep all the old buildings, to keep the history. People are not so proud of living in our beautiful area. They really have to learn how to be identified again with the beauty we have here. So young people are moving away. We have problems also that the islands that you see in the other picture are growing over, because in the old days there was some, no, sorry, it's the same still. There was some grazing animals there, but now they have disappeared. It's not so many farmers anymore. So it's also a loss of biodiversity when we cannot keep the nature open, keep the big oaks well. But we also have the Baltic Sea that has big issues. So the last issue that we have in our region, as I said also, is that we maybe are a little bit too few people. We have really nice small tourist companies, but they have a very short season, only 1 or 2 months. They should make all their money. So that is really hard for them. They're struggling in that sense. Now, please, you can continue to the next. So our solution was that we need, of course, work with more sustainability, but we also need to have more people, both living in our area and visiting our area. So that's why we thought ARC56 can be a part of that solution. And we really made ourselves a big, bold vision. We want to be an attractive, a well-known outdoor destination, a destination for nature and culture tourism. Yes, please. So what is ARC 56? As Emma also said in the beginning, it is a network of different trails connecting our coast. So you can say we're bridging the gap like an arch on the 56th latitude. So it's a network of trails, but also of companies and products along the biosphere reserve that makes it accessible, easily accessible, and easy to find those most amazing spots that make people, both locals and other, proud. We have 4 different kinds of trails. We have hiking, biking, kayaking, and sailing. And what is so special with this is that we are maybe not the most amazing just hiking destination or biking. But if we connect those different trails, then we really have something special because it's all very close. It's easy also for beginners. It's quite protected sea. It's thousands of islands. So if you want, you can really engage yourself in all those different activities. You can bike a bit and then hike and then kayak back. Thank you, Emma. So what did we work on? There is like the question of, okay, where do we start when we want to build a new outdoor destination that should be big and bold? We looked at Canada's, the great trails. But of course, we have to start at the beginning and we have to start at the infrastructure. But we didn't invent new paths. We asked the municipalities that were part of it to really choose what is the most amazing trails that you would like to show. We kept the identity of the trails, but then we added that signage, ARC 56. So we have made a new brand and packaged everything that was already existing, but just to make it more easy accessible. And we really took all locals and companies and organizations with us from the beginning. When we identified which kayak trails, we had the Kayak Society, we had the Sailing Society, but most important, we worked with the companies from the beginning. They were part of developing the vision, the branding. We asked them, how do you see your region? How do you want this to become? So they were, we created a network, and they are really ambassadors because we don't have any own budget for marketing. But if we all work together and all own this, then it can become great, we thought. But the most important part, I think, next to the marketing that we did and did this branding, was to work on the collaboration structure for the future, because we didn't want this to be just a 3-year project. We wanted it to be a very long-term investment and activity. So that's why we created a structure where everybody was involved. The region put in an employee to be responsible for it. All the municipalities are taking care of the path. We have the companies and the local organizations that all own this together. Yes, thank you, Emma. So what did we achieve in those years? We actually were quite surprised about our success after we launched in 2019. There was the pandemic, people were going outside. So we have over 45,000 downloads, which is a lot for our little area. We have made studies where the locals really say they have visited new places. They love the app. We get a lot of good feedback. We have that app because that makes it easier also to navigate through the area. And that is kind of the heart of everything. But we also have, as I said, maps and online side. We have a lot of community involvement. We do beach cleanings, we do picking invasive plants, we do a lot of activities along the path. But we also, as I said, have the sustainability company network. And we worked a lot with education. A lot of them have installed solar cells, so that has grown from 20 to 100 companies. Even other destinations have started to come to us from all over Sweden, but even Scandinavia, because this is really a concept that so many could do. It's just really to use what you have and package that and make it easy accessible. We have improved the trails, we built bridges and more. But what I'm most proud of is that we have gathered the whole regional tourism in order to get a strategy together where we want to become Sweden's most regenerative, most sustainable destination. And that really is because we alone in the Biosphere Reserve cannot transform it into sustainable tourism. But if we all work together, it's possible. And until 2030, we want to be GSTC certified and got our first gold award from Green Destination this year. Thank you, Emma. So my learnings for you is kind of dig where you stand, start really with what you have, because everybody has really beautiful values, but ask the people, what is it that is most amazing? What is it that we want to promote? Who do we want to be? And then do it together. If you put the next slide, Emma. I think that is really the biggest success factor that we have, that we started really with inviting everyone, and we didn't have a finished picture of what this should be. We asked everybody, what do you want to do here? What should we do together to lift our area and to have more sustainability? And that we really could involve everyone, all the municipalities, the visit organization, in the marketing, the region, as I said, the county administrative board, but also especially, as I said, the local companies, the local people, and the biosphere reserve. Thank you very much, Emma.
Thank you so much, Simone. I think that thank you for sharing this amazing story. I think that what stands out is that the project is not just about infrastructure, but it's also about sharing shared vision that is built on really collaboration and trust among all of the stakeholders. Thank you. So, guys, now it's time for question and answers, and I wonder if any of you has any. Otherwise, I am full of questions and answers. So, please, anybody is curious? Okay, I can start. Actually, I will start with you, Simone. I wonder if you have any advice on how to effectively involve a local community, especially like in long term for this kind of project.
Yes, thank you, Emma. That's a really good question. And that is, of course, also the challenge always to form that vision together, to really agree on something. We had discussions about, oh, do we need a new brand? Do we need an app? And all of that. But I think what was the key was really that we started with very open meetings where we invited everybody and let everybody express what they thought was most important. And then that we have that strong company network that is together with the locals. But we also realized that we have not even included the locals enough, because it's so many people, right? We have a few 100,000 people living there. So now we have a new project where we do local dialogues, where we invite the locals on their spot and ask them, okay, now we have come so far with ARC 56. How do you want your destination to be? What do we do if it's too many tourists? So really to go to the regenerative thought. But then also, I think, as you said before, the vision is so important. In days like this, where everybody and sustainability becomes so scary, I think to have that bold vision where everybody feels like, wow, we can do this together in our region. That was, I think, a big key also.
Thank you so much, Simone. And anybody else from the audience has any more question for Simone?
I have.
Hello, please.
So thank you, Simone, for a very inspiring story. Sorry, I think you mentioned, but could you repeat how many municipalities and companies do you have in this collaboration?
Yes, thank you, Kaisa. I also was very happy about your story, because I think we have a lot in common. We also actually have a military past and have been more unknown for visitors in our area. So that would be great to work together, I think, in the future. We have had 4 municipalities on board in the beginning, but since I was so successful, even the last municipality along the coast joined us. So it's 5 municipalities together. And we started with 20 companies and are now around 100, which I would say is almost maybe a third of the companies that are there along the coast.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions from the audience? Don't be shy. You can also write it in the chat. No. Okay. So, Kaisa, so now I would like to ask you a question. Based on your experience, what would you recommend for a successful stakeholder engagement? You know, because we are working with the sensitive heritage in your case. So I wonder how you put together the different perspectives of local community, for example.
I think it's very similar what Simone mentioned, but if you think of different stakeholders, besides bringing them together and asking what they think, it's also important to understand what their needs are, why they are doing something or why they are not doing something or are not happy about something. So basically, yes, think who these main stakeholder groups are and try not to leave anyone out. And also be open. When we have these tourist forums, we always advertise them openly so that anyone can come. It's not even some locals who are not connected with tourism at all, but just really that everyone feels that it is okay to come and be involved.
And who has been like the hardest stakeholder to involve?
Some state organizations who are really these big state institutions, it's difficult to involve them because those officials who work on spot, they are really involved. But to really make a difference, you have to go to these leaders, and this is sometimes not that easy.
I definitely see. I definitely see. Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Then I would like to ask a question to Maya.
Okay.
Hello, hi. So I wonder, from your perspective, what was the biggest challenge that you faced when you introduced the biomonitoring in such a sensitive natural environment?
Yeah, okay, great question. Well, probably the biggest challenge was who will work with that. I mean, who will download the data, who will go to the biomonitoring stations. And it had to be somebody that is employed by the park, but they also have like different work to do. So how we address it, we just like appointed couple of people that are like for this project, and during the timeline of the project are responsible for this. The other thing which was, there was a really significant delay for the equipment didn't arrive, so the project started quite late in the November of 2024. It was supposed to start earlier, but due to some global challenges in the world, that the equipment didn't arrive on time. And probably the last one, as I mentioned, connected to the QR codes, it is hard to monitor the reach of the QR codes. How are they scanned, and what is the main goal for the visitors who downloaded or scan the QR code. So probably we will have to do something about it in the future through the biomonitoring app, or even monitor because the server is in another country. It is not in Croatia. The main server is in Czech Republic. So there should be like the very good communication between them, the university there, and the university in Zagreb, which is our main project coordinator. Yeah.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you so much for this answer. And anybody from the audience, again, if you have more questions, feel free to ask. And I would like to ask a question to Victor.
Perfect.
Hello, Victor.
Hello
So
again.
you mentioned a lot the role of tourism in your big project. So I wonder if you can give us a bit more context about what was the role of tourism in this project.
Thank you for the question, Emma. Well, tourism here has a dual role, no? Firstly, is the main driver for the project, and also at the same time is the main beneficiary of the project, because the project Escuela, Regenerativa Competitiva, works a solution for the main problem of the touristic competence. There's not enough people to work in there. Also work against the tourismophobia, of the community that are negative impact from the tourists and are against this type of tourists. They are involved in a positive way. And also, when we introduce people who needs to work in a situation of vulnerability, and they are happy working inside tourism, they get a better tourism, a better smile of the tourism. And it means that the tourism is much better. The experience here in Lanzarote is much happy because of those people who are happy to work inside tourism, to treat, to serve all our touristics or of the tourist people here in Lanzarote. So a double role, main driver, main beneficent. So it's a pillar. Tourism is the pillar of the project.
Yeah, definitely. I see it. Thank you so much, Victor, for your answer. Thank you. Okay, if we don't have if you have more questions, we still have a few more minutes. Otherwise, I think that we are near the end of this webinar, and I would like to thank you so much, everybody, the audience, especially for being here, but also please the speakers for presenting this amazing story. And I would like to remind everybody that 2026 Top 100 Stories competition is open. If you want to register, here we have the QR code that is ready for us. Otherwise, you can also go on our website, that is greendestination.top100stories.org. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, and wish you a lovely evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.